What's happening? What's going on? What's up, everybody? Another video so soon. Obviously, this must mean something is highly important for me to drop another video, especially around this time. We're getting close to Rachel Maddow time, so you know, this must have been something serious for me to talk about. But anyway, let me just go ahead and break this down. Well, before I do, thank everybody for so much for supporting the channel, man. It was really cool to be in on RDX. Appreciate Diller and all them for giving me the invite. But for everybody who's subscribed, man, thank you so much, man. Do not stop, man. Come on, keep it going, keep it pushing. Man, let's get this channel up, man. Let's get it going. Let's get it going, man. But I do appreciate all the support that I've been getting here lately, man. It's been greatly appreciated, and all the love for people who's been listening to GRG, for Devin the Gamer, for me being on the next podcast, and everything else that I've been doing here lately. So, man, appreciate it. What's going on with you, Slayer? All right, so let me just go ahead and break this down, right? And you're probably wondering, okay, so when you read the title, you're looking at this. All right, so let me just go ahead and just start this off. There's been a rumor that's been going on here pretty just today that well, I guess it started a couple of days ago, but it just started catching wind, I believe, today. And they were talking about a Funko Pop of the Mandalorian. And so with that, they're thinking that, on Phil Spencer, one of his videos or whatever, and a lot of people, there's a lot of little, uh, I guess I forget what you call it, but just little clues and things like that, basically. And so Easter eggs, that's what the word I was trying to think about. And so they're people are thinking like, well, man, we've seen the Nintendo, then we hearing rumors about the Nintendo, we see the Moon Man, and we see Kojima's skull from Death Stranding, and then there's been all these other things that we've seen, and a lot of those things that we've seen, they've actually came true. So one of the other things that was seen that a lot of people didn't notice was the Mandalorian Fun Pop that was somewhere on their desk, which I didn't even pay attention to it. But what was crazy about that is that now people are starting to speculate that not only Microsoft is going to be working on an IP that we've already know with Machine Games, which is the Indiana Jones game, but they're also going to be working on supposedly the Mandalorian. So let me go ahead and read this to you guys. I need to be more slick to figure out to let you guys see what I read, but whatever. It said it says at 35. Well, there was somebody's podcast. It says at 35.38, Maddie says that he heard that Xbox is taking the Lucas Art film approach, while Sony took the Marvel approach with the Spider-Man PS4 in Avengers. Says that we know Machine Games is working on indie, but he heard that another first-party studio is working on a Lucas Films IP, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and then of course there was another rumor about Monkey's Island, and that was supposed to be going to Tim Schafer's, I believe, studio, in which that is also rumored as well. And so, anyway, it says people brought up that's the studio, Double Fine, that Double Fine and that Monkey Island, since Tim Schafer was the creator of it. But I don't know, I don't know about this. But the next game will be Psychonauts, and there'll be another IP. And so here comes another one that comes out that this says Jeff Grubb has posted a new article about diversity within Xbox, and Phil Spencer was seen in an update shelf behind him, but people caught on to the fact that there was a Mandalorian Funko Pop on the shelf. There's no accident, according to Shapal Ed from X Era on Twitter. And so right here it says, okay, so you've noticed there's a Mandalorian Fun Pop on Phil's shelf. Yes, someone is making a Mandalorian game. Not sure who yet, but by the way, the Funko Pop was in the last Phil self pick. I personally never noticed it the first time, but once I saw it, this time I asked, could this be a mention of the game that could be in the works in the future? Now, okay, one thing here that's kind of weird about this, right? Like, I mean, of course, we've seen these things. Phil kind of does this, it's really fun. I think not only for to him, but to everybody else. And listen, this is all rumors and speculations, but let's just be real here. Sometimes the rumors are more fun than some of the games that actually comes out at the end of the day. So just case in point, like Avengers, a lot of people was really hyped about it, but then once the game dropped, then a lot of people, then a lot of the excitement of that game dropped, and so forth in other games. But with this being a rumor, though, you know how I am. I like to follow trends, and I kind of am feeling this, right? So come in this rabbit hole with me if you don't mind. What's going on with you, Shark? So come to me in this rabbit hole. I want this video won't be too long, but I do want to break this down though into different pockets. Indiana Jones is going to be made, and the whole speculation if it's going to be a multi-plat or an exclusive is basically irrelevant. And it's the same with the Mandalorian. If they're making a Mandalorian game, that's irrelevant as well. I mean, if Xbox is getting the um, if they're having their IPs, well, I should say IPs, if they're having their studios work on these games, then most likely these games will have at least third-party support. So from coming from Microsoft, so therefore, well, not support, but they will get the rights, I should say. They will get marketing rights. So if they get those marketing rights, it's still no big deal. Regardless, like I said, that's really not a big point. That's not even the big deal of it. The thing of it is, though, is that if there's a partnership between Xbox and Disney, this could lead to something a little bit deeper. And if you looked at my title, if not the title of not the title, but if you looked at the picture that I posted, there was another character in there that, if you notice how, if the trends go right, could Xbox actually be working on a Marvel character to have to combat against Spider-Man? And what I'm thinking is, once you've seen that commercial of a Falcon, and I forget his last name is Mackey. I can't think of his first name. Could it be that the new Captain America could actually come, and then you see that the deal that going on with Disney, with the Disney Plus, being a part of the Xbox Game Pass, or Ultimate Game Pass subscription. Could this be something that could bring this this character, a much needed character? Now, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Black Panther, but because of Chadwick Boseman's passing, we don't even know what that movie is going to be. Who's going to be the main protagonist? Is it going to be his sister? Is it going to be? Are they going to bring Killmonger back? Is it going to be somebody else? Are they going to just kind of stay away from that? Is it going to be M'Baku, or anybody else within that? We have no idea how that movie is going to be panned out and how people will receive that movie. So yeah, a Black Panther movie would be absolutely amazing. But with that being said, it's still, I don't think if Chadwick Boseman was alive, it'd be a no-brainer. But I think because of the fact that everybody is that Disney's pushing the new cap, and Xbox is needing those, it's trying to be more diverse into their characters. And if they could bring an exclusive IP of the new Captain America, why not, right? Why not? Why not? I think the more, and I think the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. But again, this is all speculation. This isn't anything that I've heard from rumors. I'm just following a trend here because of the whole fact of the whole Mandalorian situation. And if the Mandalorian situation is true, which now you're starting to see a lot more, beat writers and a lot of more people that has a lot more knowledge of people that from the inside where they're hearing these rumors from, then always when there's smoke, there's fire. The thing of it with me though is that how deep does this go? How far? What kind of partnerships do they have? I mean, it makes perfect sense because of what we've heard from last year with Disney was they wanted to start putting their IPs on different entities. It's no different than we heard the rumor yesterday about um, maybe NetherRealm could be working on a Marvel game. Just think about that for a second as well. Just think about that for a second. I understand that a lot of people are thinking like, well, man, that just don't make any sense because, NetherRealm, they work on DC games, but, and, we don't know if, well, see, NetherRealm, Ed Boon owns NetherRealm. It is, the main boss or whatever is AT&T, but Ed Boon can make any game he wants to if he has the budget. So if Marvel comes to him, and just think about that as well. If Marvel came to him and says, "Look, we love what you're doing with Mortal Kombat. We love what you do with the DC games. How about you make a Marvel game, a Marvel fighting game? Something that can also get Capcom in order because there's been rumors for the last couple of years that Marvel versus Capcom is going to come back, but because it was so poorly received, it could, if they can find, if they have, an established um, an established studio like NetherRealm working on a Marvel game, a Marvel fighting game, and they put that story together. If you guys, maybe if you might not be in the fighters or whatever, but but a lot of you guys are in the stories. If you guys can go play the first Injustice, and it didn't age well. The first Injustice, but the story was impeccable. The second one, graphics, it's about a almost 5 year old game, and the game still looks up to par, but the story was even better than the first. So if you go back and if you have not played those games, I recommend you go play just for the story alone. And just if you played Mortal Kombat and you played that story, you see that they know how to make stories. They're probably the best in the business when it comes to fighting stories. Um, there's really not too many, publishers who make these fighters that make a compelling story like NetherRealm does. So to me, if it would make sense for Marvel to do that and touch on both sides, like have Marvel versus Capcom come back, and then also make NetherRealm do that. Now, of course, again, it's rumor, it's speculation, but it makes perfect sense because what Disney did this before. They had their studios. I think the studio that did Split Second was BlackRock, and it's gone. They had 13. They had what was that? The 13-13 game that fell through. So instead of going and trying to buy new studios and trying to get a team to work on some new IPs, you have all these other publishers out here that's ready, that's well established, that would love to make these properties, and Disney can sit here and recoup and make all the money that they want to because the demand for Disney stuff is really high. And just case in point, Ubisoft is going to be working on another look like I think it's going to be because I still don't. They still didn't give the name of what the game was going to be, but I think it's going to be somewhere around something like Bionic Commando. I said Bionic Commando, or you know what I'm trying to say. The Commando game that came out a couple of years ago that was a multiplayer game, and since the people who's made the Division, it's a three-player, supposed to be multiplayer type of game. Perfect. It's a perfect type of game, you would think. And then, of course, we don't know if Sony's going to get a hold of a couple of IPs, but the one publisher that is needing these type of IPs is Microsoft. And since they have all these studios, there could be something really, really intriguing going on here. I mean, just to think about it. I mean, the Warner Brothers thing didn't go through. So why not work with Disney to bring some of these high profile IPs? Like I'm looking at somebody saying, Deadpool or of course, Young Avengers, She-Hulk. Yeah, there's the possibilities is endless. Plus on top of like just like I said, childish games, kiddie games like the Lego games. Well, there's a lot of adults I know that plays Lego games, but they could have their own version of a Lego game and whatever else. And if Xbox can keep that, exclusive, it would even be a bigger win. And if they're not, they'll be on Game Pass, especially if they're having their developers, anybody in there that's from their studios working on these games. It's a win. It's not only it's a win for everybody, but it's a win-win because they could touch on that. And to me, since gaming and Xbox and everybody is trying to get into this diverse way of things right now, it makes perfect sense that, look, Anthony Mackie, that's his name. Anthony Mackie being the new Captain America, I think that would be the perfect game to complement The Mandalorian and also what they're doing with Indiana Jones. Now, again, like I said, it's a speculation, but to have the man come in a commercial, advertising Game Pass, all of a sudden there's some Game Pass stuff going, there's some Disney Ultimate Game Pass, Microsoft, Xbox love going on here. Hearing more rumors. I don't know. I follow the trends. I follow the trends. Sometimes, for the most part, they hit. Sometimes they don't. But to me, it just seems like this makes perfect sense. I don't know what you guys think here in the chat, man. I just want to hear a couple of things before I get out of here. Exclusive rights to the license. You said right, right. No, I mean, and I guess Shark is talking to somebody else into the chat about like the every cost of the license is pretty much probably different. I'm sure of that, but it just makes sense. And then the game could be ready by the time that we heard the announcement that Captain America 4 is going to be coming out here to theaters and here probably in the next couple of years. This game could already be worked on, because we don't actually know when these games. We find out about these games like 2 or 3 years in development. I mean, if you remember that when they would start talking about um, like games like The Last of Us 2, um, you know, that game was being worked on ever since the beginning of the gen, but we didn't find out about it until later on, and so forth. So there's just so many games that's been in development well before we know about it. And then once we hear the announcement, then it's usually around a year or two, sometimes three. Of course, there's been longer periods because of delays and things like that. But usually around that, it's around 2 or 3 years at the max of when these games, get released to the public. So this game probably was already in the. Well, not talking about not talking about the game that I was giving this speculation to the most, which is the Captain America game, but like the Mandalorian. If that's a game that's going to be shown at some point in time here in the near future or talked about, then that game's probably already been in development and is getting started. It's just no different than if you look at um what was that game that they showed from the initiative? Perfect Dark. A couple of years, that was what I think of 2019. They were showing Phil Spencer playing the game. Now, of course, it probably wasn't just in its infancy, but Phil Spencer was playing the game, and they showed that clip, and everybody was wondering what that game was. There was all these this concept arts of different type of games. People were speculating it was going to be a small game, that the initiative was going to be making really small titles at first, and then they were going to be making a big quadruple A budget title later on, and all of that. But then come to find out that the game that Phil Spencer was playing was Perfect Dark at that time. So it just makes sense, and also it just Microsoft needs these type of games. So that's why it would be like, for the Mandalorian, for the Mandalorian, I don't see it being an exclusive. But hey, as aggressive as Microsoft has been right now, I can't count anything out. Oh, hey, you know what I'm saying? He says, imagine Blade game coming out to coincide with the movie coming out in a few years. Man, look, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's due. Microsoft is due. A lot of people, there's been too many people that has made this point, have asked for Xbox to bring out a superhero type of title. The last one that they actually did was the Wolverine game back on the 360. So, which that was a really dope game. I wish they make that backwards compatible, but because that was a Fox title and all that, I'm pretty sure there's so much red tape, and the only way that you probably play that is if you play that on your older consoles. But that's to me is I think that's the next phase. I mean, of course, I've said plenty of times that look, Xbox needs more representation of fighters. They are doing that because I see a great list of fighters that's going to be coming to Xbox. My heart's broken about Guilty Gear Strive. Hey, but who knows? That game could get ported over maybe next year or 2 years from now. That would be great if they do. If they have like a deluxe edition or something like that. And then also hack and slash type of titles, something that's definitely needed in on Xbox. So hopefully that's what with the rumors of Ninja Gaiden and other type of games out there. Man, thank you so much, Mirror Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. AKA Henosis. You said, yeah, Monkey Island. Also, does Disney own it? Yeah, Disney owns Monkey Island. So yeah, and that's also one of the games that's being rumored as well. So to be done by Double Fine. So again, it's this. If we find out that the Mandalorian is going to come out, I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more. And not only that, I mean, I do think that Battlefront 3 is going to come back. I think EA, I mean, the game is still, that was one of the best looking shooters I've ever seen. Probably next to probably Battlefield 5. I was playing Battlefield 5 last night for the first time in, oof, for almost maybe a year, and it's just a beautiful game, just a beautiful game. But Battlefront 3, I could see that going. I could see that coming back. Of course they learn from their mistakes for what they did. And the game is it's a good quality game. I mean, other than the shady stuff that EA tried to do with Battlefront, I think that they'll get another chance with that. And of course, the Jedi Order game that was amazing. So yeah, Respawn's definitely going to bring that game back. So and hopefully, with Respawn, they could go ahead and bring Titanfall 3. We can definitely have that. We could definitely get a little bit of that. So, but yeah, no, I just wanted to run that through you. It was just something that just crossed my mind. I was like, you know what? I mean, if these rumors are true, um, this could be something that Xbox gamers has been asking for a very long time. And on top of that, I mean, as popular as The Mandalorian is, now trying to bridge the gap on trying to get these type of superhero type of games to come to Xbox because they are needed. And just other type of titles that's endless with Disney right now. And Disney's over here letting other publishers mess with their IPs. I think it's just a perfect marriage. And on top of just every other, there's all different types of games that they could. I mean, Square Enix has done stuff with Disney now. We already know that uh, Ubisoft is going to be working on some IPs or IP for sure for them for Disney. So why not Xbox? We already know that pretty much, even though Sony owns Spider-Man the movie rights, but Disney owns the game rights. But it's still the thing of where you know there could be some kind of like for with the Spider-Man universe kind of merging and doing some things and adding more Marvel characters within the Spider-Man universe. I think that would be perfect for Spider-Man. Uh, so much. I mean, for Spider-Man being exclusive and they implement those games, then yes, you need to buy a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4 for that. But for what they did with Avengers, I thought it was crummy. But again, it's business. But for Xbox, they need that. And since the WB thing didn't happen and they couldn't get Batman, um, hey, this is the next best thing. And like I said, I think it would be a really good look, not only for Xbox, but for people of color like me who are wanting more diversity into gaming. It's getting better, but we want to see more of these protagonists that looks like me, that looks and it has that. And so, I mean, I think that's the way to break the mold when you start bringing in, fantastic characters like that, and then giving them really powerful storylines. That's for one reason for me. I love Spartan Locke so much. That's why I always say hashtag save Locke. Because I want that team to succeed and to go forward and be a part of the Halo universe for as long as they possibly can and forever pretty much, just like with everybody with the red team, with blue team, all of that, so that's the thing to me, is to bring in those type of characters. So again, for the people who's going to watch this video a little bit later, please let me know what you think. I mean, do you think that I'm full of shit? Do I lose my damn mind? Or did or do you think I might be onto something and you think this might be a good idea? Because I really think that this might be some telling tales of some stuff that will happen. Will be something definitely to talk about on GRG here coming up this Friday. So man, come and check us out then. Before that though, tomorrow night, next podcast on Xbox 44H channel. Next week, the Devin the Gamer should return next Tuesday. So and we should have a special guest. And we'll have a special guest. We'll have Yobi coming through, dropping by on GRG. So, man, thank you guys so much for the support, man. Again, hit that like button. If you don't see it, I will have it up because there's a button, and I always forget to hit it now since I know. Man, thank you so much, ATL, man. Really appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. So I know that there's people that already have podcasts and things out there. Yeah, definitely appreciate it, man. So again, Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that dislike button. I don't care. Just hit one of the damn buttons. And everybody, thank you so much. It's Rachel time. I better get the hell out of here. Have a good night. Till the next video. Peace.